Council with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, and let me know that all board members are present and accounted for tonight. Okay, so we will go to letter C. Consent agenda, number 1, AP warrants, number 4, 8/12/2025. And number 2, payroll registers, number 33, 8/14/2025, number 34, 8/21/2025. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the AP warrants and the payroll register.
Second. Any questions or concerns? Seeing none, all in favor? So moved. Number 3, qualified catering permit, special event application for Jeff's Catering and Bake Shop Incorporated at Fairy Tale Gardens, 1619 East Madison Road on 9/27/25.
I'll make a motion to accept the qualified catering permit for special events for Jeff's Catering.
Second.
Okay. Any concerns or questions? Seeing none, all in favor? So moved. Letter D, acceptance of the minutes of the Select Board Budget Meeting on August 11th, 2025.
Not
Not budget, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That's a
Again,
typo.
I gotta take that out of there, sorry.
Yeah, Select Board meeting, sorry.
Make a motion to approve the minutes as written.
Second. Okay, any questions or concerns with regard to that? Seeing none, all in favor? So moved. That's right, fix that, okay.
I will fix that.
Okay, letter E, old business, personnel policy review, sections 1, 2, and 3, answers to previous questions, process for continued review. Denise, sorry, Madam Town Manager.
I reached out to the attorneys who have helped work on this with us, and adding department head is not a problem at all, so we'll say department head / supervisor where applicable. And then the paragraph on absences for religious purposes is necessary. It is federal and state law, so there's no taking that out. But again, there's a caveat in there that says without undue hardship to the department. And I recommend going forward that we don't take up the time in the public meeting to review this, that we have the select board chair, the highway road commissioner, myself, and the finance person work together offline, and then come back to the whole board with a finished product that we recommend to be passed.
Do we need to vote on that, or is that just something we can approve?
I don't, you're the chair, I don't know, maybe we can open it up for
Do
discussion.
you guys have any questions with regard to doing it that way, rather than
be
going through the whole thing?
I would support
Yeah,
that.
yeah, it would make more sense to do it that way.
And we could have before the meeting, we could have a copy of the policy, so we
Yeah,
could
yeah.
review it with highlights, what got changed.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, I would be good with that.
Okay.
Mr. Wright, are you okay with that?
Sure.
Thank you, Jeff. So, do we need to vote? No, I didn't think so, okay. We're just gonna move that off for now. And, yeah, I think we can accomplish it quicker and easier that way.
Probably in one setting.
Yeah, one, two. Number 2, ATVs at Nathan Street Boat Landing, need meeting of stakeholders for solutions, no action required at this time.
I would like to recommend that we include the following people in a stakeholder meeting. Jeff Ireland, who is the ATV club chair, Jeff Wright as road commissioner, somebody from the sheriff's office, a deputy sheriff, or the sheriff himself, I don't know, a game warden who I think has access or knowledge about ATVs and trails and whatnot, and then one select board member. That's what and myself, to be in this committee. And then maybe we could add somebody from the citizens group that might have citizens' concerns about it.
I would like to be on that committee. If nobody. And Denise, can I, oh, yeah, okay. Can I make a recommendation for, to ask Craig Christopher? if he wanted to be on it. I know he's voiced some concerns, and he's
Okay.
had some, you know, close, I don't know, he's seen some incidents, I guess. I would just ask if you could ask him if he'd be interested.
Okay.
So just
Okay. And
I don't know if
I
anybody
think
else
there
has
was
any
somebody else that had interest.
Yeah, it was Melody Ruskin's dad.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you. Is everybody all right with that profile?
Yeah, I think so. Number 3, Madison Gateway Business Park Committee, need meeting of stakeholders, no action required at this time.
Okay, again, no vote, but I do need to know who all should be on this. And I know we talked about somebody from the select board, somebody from the MEW board, the stakeholders at the business park being Darren Richards for the veterinary hospital and Evan Coleman for his piece of property. Is there anybody else? Is there somebody on the select board that,
Willing to take that on. I think anybody that owns property in there should be.
Yeah.
okay, all property owners?
And Acadia isn't,
No, they're not on, they would not be part of it because they're not in there
Right.
technically yet.
technically, okay.
Okay, and so select board, and then town manager, and MEW. Okay,
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 you good?
thank you.
Okay, moving on to items of communication, Living Well reports. We do have a report for Living Well in our packet. Anything that we need to discuss with regard to that, Cheyenne, or are we good?
No, I think we're good.
And the garden's getting rain.
Yes, thankfully.
Oh, fine, okay.
Do you want to talk about the salsa class that you did? Not dancing.
Oh,
yes.
oh, yeah.
Cooking.
Oh, yeah.
So we did do the
That's right,
cooking
yeah.
demonstration last Wednesday, and we had 3 more people than last time, so the
Nice.
classes appear to be growing.
Nice. Good.
Do we have any more of those events coming up?
We have one more in October. We'll be learning to make applesauce.
Thank you. Number 2, town manager's report on expenses, revenues, and the monthly GA, currently at 16.6%, week 8 equals 15.4%.
Yep.
A little over.
A little over, we had because the school budget, you know, is almost $500,000 every month. That just kind of kicks it up really high and heavy. But we also had, let me see if I can tell you what else really drew it down. Yeah, I don't know right off the top of my head what else might have brought it up, but for the most part, we're right on target. You know, we're within 1%.
Anybody have any questions with regard to those numbers?
And the GA budget, I put in for the July reimbursement, haven't got that yet. We're still waiting also on the May and June reimbursement. So the second page of the GA report shows you what we've got to date. Oh, I didn't, yeah. We did get the April, that came in at the beginning of August. So you can see that they're several months behind
Which is pretty much standard, the way it's been going.
with the state, yeah.
Any questions or concerns? No, we'll move forward. 2, number 3, budget line missed in town meeting, $10,000 capital line for municipal fire station building repairs and maintenance.
Yes. So when we were preparing the town report and doing all the articles and everything else, I missed a line, I dropped a line. And it was the capital repairs and improvements for the fire station part of the municipal building. And I know I missed it because I went to look for it in the town report and it's not there. So we have a couple of options. I think one of the things that we may want to consider, there are some other additional expenses that have come to light since the town meeting that are gonna be considerable. So we may need to think about doing a special town meeting, and if so, this would be one of the items that goes on that agenda. Otherwise, we'll have to find another alternative, whether we dip into the undesignated fund balance for $10,000 or, whatever.
Well, we're gonna talk about the additional funds requests anyway soon.
Yes. Yeah.
Any questions with regard to that? Moving on to number 4, excuse me, Town Managers Recap of Maine Town and City County Managers Association Institute.
Not that, was it? No, it was 2 weeks ago. We had an institute where we had about maybe 100 managers from around the state of Maine, from down south, Kennebunk, all the way up to Wallagrass, Fort Kent, Madawaska. And we met at the Jordan Hotel in Sunday River, and it was a great opportunity to network, learn. It was like drinking from a fire hose. There was so much information coming out of all these sessions. One thing that I do want to share that is a positive for our community, when we got there in the opening session, the sitting president said, and don't forget that there's the community raffle, everybody that brought something from their community, it's in the other room, and we're going to raffle that off. And I was like, I missed that part of the memo. So I emailed Matt O'Malley at Timber HP, and he graciously donated a pallet of timber bat to be raffled off from Madison's community raffle. And I think that's maybe $500, $400. According to my son who works there, he said it's like $25 a bundle. So there might be 16 bundles in a pallet. And one of the nice things about it was that they said they would deliver it free anywhere in the state of Maine. The person that won is from Wallagrass. So Timber HP is going to get a little exposure in northern Maine. But I'm happy to talk to any of you individually to go over any of the sessions that I had. I just a lot of information, and I hope to be able to go again next year. They do three events a year, one in March, one in December with New Hampshire, and then the big one, which is multi-day, in August.
Everybody okay with that? Okay. Number 5, resignation, sadly, of the Madison Code Enforcement Officer, KB Cog Regional CEO position.
Jeff Drew, will you come forward, please?
Oh, I gotta.
Yeah, you gotta. So Jeff has an opportunity with KB Cog to be a regional code enforcement officer. And it's a brand new pilot program, the first one in the state. And I'll let him talk more about that, and Tim Curtis can also talk a little bit about it. But it's an effort to help enhance the local communities, the small places that don't have their own code enforcement and can't afford to have a full-time code enforcement officer. And sadly for Madison, we will lose our full-time code enforcement officer, but he wears many other hats, not just code enforcement. So I will use my razor-sharp negotiation skills with the executive director at KB Cog, and we'll work out an arrangement where whatever Jeff is working on currently is not going to be just abandoned. It will be followed through and finished, even if it's after the point where he has transferred to the other agency. Jeff, did I miss anything?
No, I think you said it pretty much. I'll see you later.
Do you have any questions?
Any questions?
I had one that Julie Forbes and I were talking earlier today, and she said, would you please ask Jeff what will happen to the library ramp estimates that you were looking at for the building committee?
I've been given all my estimates that I've received so far to Sean, and any more that I get, definitely pass on to
So I
them.
can just tell them that that's good.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you.
I feel it's a, I don't know, Tim, you could probably answer to it's really a good pilot program to have now, I think, in that we can't find people to do those jobs anymore.
So the scope of it, if I may,
Yeah.
a couple of years ago, KV Cog got a $3 million grant from FEMA, and they were awarded, but they did not receive the money. And that was going to have KV Cog be the lead for 6 other COGs in the state, so 6 other economic development corporations, that they would put, hire and train new code officers in each one of those regions to fulfill the needs of small towns. And unfortunately, that FEMA grant got pulled back and taken away. So KV Cog was left with kind of what do we do now? And so they decided to just shrink it down to something that would just focus on Somerset County. And so they took some of their undesignated fund balance in their KV Cog budget and applied money to it. And the county commissioners in Somerset applied $15,000 to it to try to get this program started. You know, the thinking is that small towns like New Portland and Solon and Bingham and maybe others, they already budget X amount of dollars for code enforcement. The problem is finding somebody. And so the hope is that maybe by pulling together several of these small communities, and if they commit what they're already committing to for code enforcement, and simply just turn that over to KV Cog, they won't have to worry about any of the personnel issues because this person will be an employee of KV Cog and they'll take that risk. So.
Thanks a lot.
Opportunity.
Opportunity, there you go.
And from what I understand, talking with Joel, it's also an opportunity for Jeff to go in and train other CEOs to acclimate either as a code enforcement group within KV Cog or send them out to be employed by the municipalities.
There's a lot of different hands involved in code enforcement. For years, it has been administered through the Maine Fire Marshal's office. With the Maine Office of Community Affairs, MOCA, that was just funded and established in this last legislature, code enforcement now moves over to MOCA and out of the Fire Marshal's office. So in doing that, they will be looking to work with the COGs to bring on and train new code officers. The more people that we can get into this business that are certified to do the work, the better it is for everybody.
So there are very few of them really available.
And Maine just switched over to the latest round of MUBEC for towns that have populations of 4,000 and higher.
Is that the 21 code,
I believe so.
2021?
Yeah.
Good, thank you. Thank you, John.
I
Congratulations.
just wanted to point out at the bottom there where it's under other, yeah, just, sorry, the snarkasm specialist, so.
Wow.
That
And
was
the
it.
office muscle.
So the candy jar will always be filled. I just,
Yeah.
a little heads up, you know.
Mr. Martins?
Yeah, do we know, to get Jeff services, are we gonna have to be part of the KV Cog, like, as a municipality?
My
Is that-
understanding that's what Denise is going to be with the KV Cog director. And I don't think, for a town the size of Madison and the scope of the work that needs to be done, it may work for a while. It may turn out to be a permanent solution, but I wouldn't rule out trying to post that position and find a new code officer. So I think KV Cog can help you get by for a while. The grant was designed for towns with populations under 4,000, so.
And if I,
We're gonna have a gap without a.
Exactly.
my hopes are
Congratulations,
to train people and, you know, push them in this direction. It's-
Good.
If I can train
Yeah.
dozens of people for combat, I can train a carpenter to look at plumbing
Sure.
and vice versa.
So is there a cost to all this?
Well, there will be, and that's what I have to negotiate with KV Cog. But it will be, we'll be saving on the salary and benefit side, and there'll be a cost on the contract side. We're already members of KV Cog. We already pay, you know, dues to them, so it's.
Oh, we do?
Oh, yeah, and have for
Are
long
they gonna
time.
increase to try to take advantage of more of their resources like we have?
No, it's,
So you
it's,
just part, when you pay, you just part of it? and-
well, when we have assistance from the KV-COG planner, that's a cost. When we have assistance from the KV-COG code enforcement officer, there'll be a cost. So there'll be additional costs, but it will be offset by the amount that we save in the salary and benefits side.
Okay. Obviously, there's gonna be a lot of variables there.
Oh, very
I
much.
could sit and ask a bunch of questions trying to make something, I know that it's gonna take a while to dig them out, right? But yeah, we have to know all those different variables to see if the cost is more effective than actually hiring another code enforcement officer.
Agreed, and I would present, when that information is available, I will present it to the board for a decision.
Thank you so much.
Madison is still my town.
Absolutely,
We know,
thank you, Jeff.
Thank you. Okay. Let's see, where are we? We're gonna go down to new business, and Mr. Tim Curtis is up to bat to present some financing, TIF financing.
So I know it says on the agenda 30 minutes, but that's only if you have questions. And I hope you do have some questions. So if you have this handout in front of you, this is what I'm going to use. Does everybody have this handout in their packets? Okay. There's some more copies over on the table over there as well. So it was 12 years ago that I started working for the town. I was an economic development consultant. I worked with Dana Berry, who was the town manager at that time, and Bill Van Tynen was the tax assessor. And I was able to spend a lot of time with Bill, and I learned quite a bit. And one of my first projects with Dana was to update the Backyard Farms TIF. And so I spent quite a bit of time on that, talking with Bill, got a good understanding of it. And since then, it's really just become an interesting hobby of mine. I spent most of today looking at CMP numbers that regard the corridor and the unorganized territory of Somerset County, and the TIFs that are in place for that. So just for most people that hear the word TIF, they immediately think in the negative that you're giving a big business a tax break. And that is part of it, but it doesn't have to be part of it. So on that first page there on the bottom, I wanted to start by just defining some terms. What is TIF? TIF is tax increment financing. It's a tool that the state has created that if a town wants to entice a business to come in here and start jobs and raise valuations, they can use it. The whole purpose of a TIF, however, is simply to create a shelter for the increase in valuation. So we'll talk more about that in a minute. The only way that a business gets any portion of their taxes back is if they enter into the town's, with the town an agreement for a credit enhancement agreement. That's where you get the split on taxes. You can do a 70-30 split, a 50-50 split, whatever the selectmen agree to, and then you take the town meeting, and then you take the state. It all has to be approved in that order. But whatever you agree to on the tax split, that's under the guise of that credit enhancement agreement. So you have a TIF, the big umbrella, and then sometimes underneath that you have a credit enhancement agreement. Just for folks who worry that we made a TIF with CMP in Somerset County, we did a TIF so we could capture the money and shelter the value, but we did not do a credit enhancement agreement with CMP. So CMP does not benefit from the TIF that's in Somerset County. But the two that you have in Madison do have that benefit. So a TIF district, that's the physical tracts of land. And so if you were to look at our TIF documents, you would see maps with yellow around certain tax maps that indicate these are in the TIF district. And if it's in the TIF district, this is where TIF money can be spent. So obviously Backyard Farms is in that, obviously Woodlands is in that, but also when we did the update in 2013, we included all the roads that carry traffic, town roads that carry traffic to and from Backyard Farms. So that's why we can spend TIF money in paving and upgrading those roads. We included all the buildings. So this building, this territory is a TIF district. The town office is a TIF district. The fire department in East Madison and Madison is a TIF district. And Weston, where the apartments are now, is a TIF district. All of that is included. So that's why TIF money can be spent there at your discretion. And then Betty, business equipment tax exemption. So this is a program that came out in the early 2000s. So whenever a company comes and puts new equipment in, they're exempt from taxation. We can't tax them for new equipment. So everything that's going in down at Timber HP is tax exempt. And that's a state program, and the state reimburses the town 50% of what they would have got when if they had taxed it full. That's the answer to the question. If anybody ever tells you, hey, how come when Madison Paper was going, my taxes were down here, and then the mill came back to, and it's working now, how come my taxes are still going up? When Madison Paper was there was a $200 million paper machine that had no bedding on it, had no programs on it. So we got all the benefit of that big piece of equipment. Well, that machine is gone now, and the machines that have replaced it have tax exemptions on them put on by the state. We don't do bedding at the town level. That's the state program. That's a state tax incentive to get people to come and spend money in Maine. So you turn the page. Let's talk about shelter valuation. This is one of the things that they pitch to you as a benefit to the town. But really, you're just moving money from one place to another. So if you put a business in a TIF district, that means the increased value of that is sheltered from your valuation. So you guys just did your tax commitment. And Shirley talked to you about the number of homes and businesses that make up that 590 whatever million dollars it was in your tax valuation. Backyard farms and woodlands are not in that number. So they are sheltered from that number. So what that does is it allows you to generate a little bit more state aid education. It allows you to get a little bit more revenue sharing, and it, in theory, lowers your county taxes, or at least lowers the percentage that you pay of the county tax bill. So let's use an example down there at the bottom of page 2. Assuming that these TIF districts in Madison are sheltering about $40 million, the impact is your state aid education would go up $240,000, your revenue sharing would go down, and your portion of the county tax would go down. So that would net out, and these are round numbers, but that would net out to about $320,000. So that's the benefit to the town right now by sheltering that. So if those TIFs went away, what that means is you would have to raise from taxation an additional $320,000 because you would lose that benefit. It's not a significant benefit. Sometimes I think the lawyers kind of play that valuation up, or that sheltering up, a little bigger than it needs to be. So, any questions so far? Definitions, sheltering, all right. So in page 3, you get to more of the specifics of what you have in place right now. So Backyard Farms is a $45 million original investment with 160 employees. That number has fluctuated over the years. It was a 30-year TIF that expires in 2035. So in about 10 years, that TIF district expires. Within that TIF, the umbrella of the TIF, within that is a 20-year credit enhancement agreement, which expires this year. This is the last year that Backyard Farms will pay their taxes, and Cheyenne will turn around and write them a check back for 70%. This is the last year that's in place. So I know Denise has already heard some rumblings, and I would be prepared for them to come in and ask to extend that credit enhancement agreement.
Shirley talked about that earlier.
Good, okay. So the big difference of the Backyard Farms TIF is enhanced bedding. And so what does that mean? Right now, under state law, the state only reimburses you 50 to 60% of what you could have taxed equipment for. When Bill Van Tynen wrote this TIF back in 2006, there was a program at the state for a short window of time where you could get 100% returned on your bedding. That doesn't exist anymore. And Bill will tell you that when they wrote this TIF, they took the loophole and they drove a truck through it. And so that is the significant difference in the Backyard Farms TIF to just about any other TIF you'll see, is this enhanced personal property. So the Woodland Senior Living TIF had a $5 million original investment, 30 employees. It's only a 15-year TIF, so both these TIFs expire the same year. And it's a 15-year credit enhancement agreement. So the entire length of the TIF, you have that deal. And they're an 85-15% split, which means they get to keep 85% of their taxes. Now, Woodlands told us when we were negotiating with them that they wouldn't build the building without some sort of arrangement like this, because what they do with that 85% of their taxes they get back, They just put against the loan that they took out to build the building. So that's where the credit enhancement, your credit is greater if you have this revenue coming in and you don't have to pay all your taxes, but it's for a short period of time. So now let's put the numbers to them at the bottom of page 3. This is from last year's commitment, 24. The valuation of Backyard Farms building and land is $32 million. They get a tax bill on that for $520,000. Cheyenne writes them a check back for $364,000, and then you keep in a separate fund $156,000 based on that. So you're working with $156,000 that you can spend as TIF revenue. But below the line is the enhanced Betty. So when we say the Backyard Farms is worth $50 million, the building and land is 32, all their equipment is another $21 million. And we get the full tax value on that. It doesn't come into the general fund, it comes in as special revenue only designated to be used for TIF. So when they come and negotiate, they're only negotiating the 70-30. They're not negotiating the Betty. So you don't have to worry about that. That's a state program. The state pays us for it out of our TIF. You're only dealing with the 70-30 with Backyard Farms.
And that will be good through 35?
That's correct. That 100% Betty, the enhanced Betty, is good through 2035. It doesn't end this year. Any other questions?
Are we getting that now, that 100%? Or I thought the state pulled it back.
That's correct. That's why it was a special program, and so we are getting 100% of the tax value of all the equipment at Backyard Farms, and that is unique. That Backyard Farms is the only business in town that we benefit that way from. Everybody else we get 50 to 60% back.
The state rolled back the program, but the commitment was already in place, and they have to honor that commitment through the end of the TIF.
Right.
That's not negotiable until 2035.
That's correct. Yeah. So the other one, Woodland Senior, is much smaller. It's a $6.6 million value. They pay about $107,000 in taxes. We return 91, and we keep 16. So if you add all that up, 156, 343, 16, you've got about $515,000 of TIF revenue that comes to the town each year. Now, back in the day when we first started the Backyard Farms TIF, people would assume that it was just piling up somewhere. We had this room in the town office that was just full of cash, right? And you probably get those questions too. How come Backyard Farms gets their taxes back? What do we get out of that? And so if you turn to page 4, we basically have always budgeted for that $500,000. So the road commissioner uses part of it to go through the cycle of the roads that are in the TIF district. We do economic development. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But basically, each town must submit a project list. And if you've ever seen this project list, it can look a little bit confusing because you have to make it sound like it connects to state statute. So it's often worded very difficult to follow. But when we did the amendment back in 2013, we added a lot of regular municipal costs that weren't part of TIFs before. As more and more TIFs started to get into rural areas, the state had to relax its rules on what you could spend TIF money on, because not everybody had a Department of Economic Development and that sort of thing. So authority for spending the TIF funds rests with you. When we did the amendment back in 2013, the state pushed back on this because this is unique. In most cases, you have to take your TIF budget to town meeting, or if you're a council that doesn't have a town meeting, you can handle it. But Madison is one of the few areas where you selectmen control the TIF budget. You can decide. If you want to go to town meeting, that's great, but you don't have to. You can control what you spend the TIF dollars on, as long as they're within that project list, right? You've got to be able to justify it, that you're spending it in that project list. So the bottom part of page 4 is the first of 2 slides on that project list. And so we do matching grants, revolving loans through that money. The percentage of administration costs, highway costs, fire rescue costs, utility costs, you see that on your town meeting warrant, right? So when you're doing a highway department warrant, right at the bottom when you total it, then underneath that it says less approved amount from TIF. So in our TIF statutes, we have percentages that can be applied to each one of those departments, and that was intended to lower taxes. This was around the same time of 2013, 2014, when the valuation went down at the mill, and the select board at that time said, we want to be able to use some of this TIF to help offset taxes. So that's what that is for. Road safety costs like salt and calcium, job training, infrastructure needs, water, sewer, parking, transportation. You may hear this way back in 2006. The project list only included a few things. And one of the projects is we were going to run water and sewer all the way out to the Skowhegan line. And so that was the idea that we had we were going to use this TIF money for. Doesn't mean we have to do it, and clearly we haven't done it. But since then, we've expanded a whole lot more different projects for that. So the top of page 5 is the rest of that. Sidewalks, traffic safety, road repair on those specific TIF district roads, elimination of blight, market rates, housing development, recreational trails, and public boat landing development or maintenance. So that's the list right now. And both TIFs, both backyard farms and woodlands, have the same lists. So you don't. There's one that doesn't have different projects than the other. They're all the same, and we did that to keep it as simple as possible. All right. Any questions on that? Okay. So the bottom of page 5. What happens when the TIF goes away? So they both have valuations, woodland and backyard farms, that expire in 2035. So woodland receives 85% of their property taxes back through that point. After that point, you don't have to renew the TIF, and then woodlands will just pay all their taxes just like everybody else does. There is no personal property involved in the woodlands TIF, because woodlands already gets Betty for the personal property that they have over there at their place. So backyard farms is structured a little bit differently. Top of page 6, it has that 20-year credit enhancement agreement. But like we've already touched on a little bit, that agreement ends this year, but the enhanced Betty goes on for another 10 years. So just a couple of tips if and when backyard farms comes to renegotiate. One is you want them to come renegotiate, because if they don't care about it, that means that greenhouse is up for sale. All right? So we don't know that, nobody said that, but that would be an indicator to me. If they don't care about their credit enhancement agreement, if they don't care about that $300,000 they get back every year, that's a problem. All right? You have a TIF policy. It's in your code of ordinances. You click on it online, and there's a whole TIF policy that Bill wrote years ago. It talks about what you should use as negotiation tools for TIFs. Jobs is one of them. Backyard Farms is not generating the amount of local jobs that it did when it got that 70-30 split 20 years ago. So that's something that you need to consider as well as you move forward. You're not tied into 70-30. You can negotiate whatever you want. You can make it 30-70. Swap it back the other way. You can extend it for 5 years. You can extend it for 10 years, but you can't extend it beyond 2035. So it has to end at that point, unless you want to go from scratch and start a whole brand new TIF, but you lose out on that Betty because the state won't let you do that unless it changes in 10 years. But I doubt it. So any questions on that? The other thing that's important about a TIF policy is the next time. Anybody that comes in, and the select board in the past has turned down people that have approached and done a presentation and said, we'd like a TIF. And the selectmen said, you're not creating any jobs. You're already here. That's another one. If the business is already here, unless they're doing a major expansion, they really don't need a TIF. So use your TIF policy as kind of your guidelines when people come in. All right, and the last thing, again, we've already touched on this. What happens to the enhanced Betty at the end of 2035? Well, right now, this is generating about $350,000 a year for you. Keep in mind, every time you lower your mill rate, you get less money in your TIF, because the TIF is based on the mill rate. So even though your mill rate was 16 and now it's 14 something, your Betty is going to be less because it's going to be based on that. So anytime you move the mill rate up or down, it affects how much money you get in your TIF. So by 2035, that will revert from 100% reimbursement to somewhere between 50 and 60%. So you're going to potentially see a loss of about $180,000 to $200,000 that you've gotten used to coming in through that in 2035. So Bill did a great job writing that TIF, and he really benefited the town of Madison for 30 years. When you think of $300,000 over 30 years, that's millions of dollars that Bill helped the town generate. So I encourage you, keep asking questions. I like this sort of thing, so I'd be glad to answer it. So.
Thank you so much.
Right.
That was
I got a
very-
question.
So here's the other 20 minutes.
Yeah. So this beta, when it expires in 2035, is it just going to continue on until infinity, or is it something that's been negotiated with the state?
Well, you can't really negotiate this program with the state because it's a state program.
Sure.
So if you go all the way back, they tried this program called Better, which was business equipment tax reimbursement, where folks at Madison Paper would say, okay, we bought this new equipment, and they show the price to the state. They would pay the taxes to the town, and then the state would write a check for 50% back to the business. Well, that was too convoluted, so they just eliminated the middleman, and now you don't pay taxes on it at all, and the state, instead of writing a check to the business, writes a check to the town. So that's still in existence. Everything over at Timber HP, for the most part, is all Betty, and so when Shirley calculates, and you should look for it probably in December, January timeframe, it comes in through the state portal, that revenue comes in. So that, unless, and you've got to keep an eye on the state, but unless they change that program will continue on like it is. So,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
Thanks, Tim.
All right, thanks, folks.
Thank you.
Okay.
Tag, you're it.
Number 2, at Anson Madison Sanitary District, Main Street Storm Drain Project, Dale Clark. Up.
So just a little bit about the sanitary district. I'm not sure if everyone understands how we function, but we have, our revenue is supported through sewer rates, and the other mechanism is through, we take care of the storm drain systems in the towns of Anson and Madison. We don't make any money on storm drains. It's a reimbursement. We spend $1 on doing repair to a storm drain. The town in which it was repaired in would reimburse us. So we've done a project just recently, last year, updating or upgrading the storm drain pipe that goes from Jones Brook all the way to Main Street, because it was undersized, a 15-inch pipe. And as you know, there was, I'm sure you've seen in Main Street, across from, or right in front of K-Tronics, it periodically floods. So we did a drainage study and determined the outfall pipe is too small. Pipes within Main Street are too small. So we took care of the large outfall pipe. That project's done, so there's a 30-inch pipe all the way to Main Street now. The pipes within Main Street are too small, so those need to be upsized. We were hoping the state would have picked that up, since we got the pipe all the way there to their system. But they're not willing to do it on their nickel 100%. They're offered 50% to help out with the cost, and it's called a municipal partnership incentive program that they've created, so they help out the town. So if you want to do the project right now and fix the problem, they're willing to help out 50%. And the other option is to do nothing and let it continue to flood, and hopefully at some point the state may put it on their priority list, and then it may get fixed. But, so right now, the district, we're able to, and we have plans, we could fix the problem, and we met with the state, they approved our plan, and they've approved the 50% up to like $500,000. But the problem is, the other 50%, where's it coming from? We can't ask our sewer ratepayers to pay that through sewer rates, so that's why I'm here to ask the town, are you willing to fix this problem and pay 50%? And the engineering estimates we have right now was $150,000. But I wonder if, once you put out the bid, who knows what those numbers will end up being? Could be 200,000, 300,000, who knows? But, so the town would be on the hook for half of the district, be on the hook, and we've asked for reimbursement at the end of the year. So we do all our maintenance and all our projects throughout the year, and at the end of the year, before your town meeting, your budget, we then prepare an invoice for the town to reimburse the district for those costs. I know I'm kind of throwing a lot on you right now as far as approval of this, but you don't have to approve tonight and think about it. But I would like to get this project done this year, maybe, I mean, if we can. If not, it's going to get pushed off till next spring, summer construction season. DOT has plans to pave Main Street. So we need to get that done before that pavement's done.
So let's say it's a $300,000 project and you need the town to reimburse you $150,000.
Yeah.
Would the district be willing to take that over 3 years?
We could set up a loan agreement of some sort.
Because back in the day with Dan and Barry, we had set up something similar to that, where we did a very big project and we had payments over a course of time.
The district has in the past borrowed money to do stormwater projects, and if it was a 10-year loan, the district would then bill the town whatever that annual payment was.
Yeah.
So we could set up an arrangement like that as well. Just wanted to, What's that?
You really want to get it done as soon as possible.
yeah, it really needs to be done. I know K-Tronics, Jeff Ireland, he's
Yeah, I've done.
plagued with water coming in his building
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah,
It's just, the pipe crossing Main Street is too small. It needs to
Did
be
you, I
upside.
hear you say they're gonna pave down there too at some point with DOT?
Next year, they're gonna pave from the lights all the way down to the bridge.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So it'd be nice to address this project before
Yeah.
they pave it,
Yeah.
because after they pave it, I'm sure they're not gonna jump to try to do this project on their own.
Okay. Well, I think we need to have some time to discuss
Yeah.
it, and, yeah, we'll let you know what we come up with.
Yeah. I would look at that project, probably gonna be more in the $200,000 to $300,000 range. We were basing it on last year's construction estimates that we did the other project on, which, who knows, it all depends on
Right,
the
it's- yeah.
construction environment,
You
and
never know.
contracts are busy.
Yeah. John?
One,
So the storm drain from where the sheriff's department is at the town office, is that part of that?
That's not part of this project, unfortunately. That one still goes into the sewer system, and we treat all that water when it rains, like tonight. That was our big plan, is eventually to get all the way to the police, or the old former police station, and separate that catch basin from the sewer, and run a separate storm line, because there's no storm line in that area. Right now, it's just a sewer line. So,
and the previous select board had signed the easement to allow them to do that.
yeah. And we have the easements from the, what's the Somerset Abbey and Irving's, there's a strip of land through there, so we do have those all in place. All we need is money.
Once the state paves the road, are you able to get into it to do the replacements?
I would guess it's probably a 5-year moratorium on it. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
It's difficult.
5 years.
And I'm sure Jeff Harlan would not want to wait another 5 years to keep mopping water out of his building, but
Yes, sir.
Got a quick question. So, how long has downtown been around? I want to know why all of a sudden this flooding's been taking place the last 5, 6 years when it wasn't before. What's changed?
I don't
If
know.
the pipe is too small now,
Yeah,
it should have been too small 10 years ago.
It's always been too small, yeah. I don't understand, maybe more intense rainstorms. I mean, it doesn't flood every time it rains. It's just really severe downpours.
Now, was that one originally separated from the sewer?
What's that?
Was that originally separated from the sewer line?
Was that originally? Parts of it probably were. At one time, there was one pipe went down the street, over the sewer storm drains, the sewer all went down one pipe. Over time, we've been separating those. But Main Street, I don't remember when that was separated, probably back in, Main Street was done in the early 90s, I believe. There was a stormwater separation project, and new sewer lines went in then, so maybe up until that point.
Was that a state-funded project back then?
Back then, it was state funded, right. That's the part that hurts. It's like, it's really not our infrastructure for the towns to really to deal with, but we're dealing with the problem. And the state's not willing to put that as a priority for them right now. And so if we can deal with it for another 5 years, then maybe they'll act on it and fix it on their dollar.
Thank you.
Any other questions of Dale?
Are we waiting flood the numbers to make a decision? Is that what we'd be waiting on?
We need to have some discussions on it, yeah. Yeah, and obviously we need to know what the numbers are gonna be.
So we're gonna put this out to bid in the next couple of weeks, and we'll have a better number probably in a month.
Okay.
So I think the question comes down to how are we going to work on the financing piece of it, because our budget has already passed, and we wouldn't be able to come up with any money unless we go to special town meeting until next July.
When would you bill them for?
We wouldn't build them until 26.
Yeah, so they're not gonna.
The bill wouldn't be due until after town meeting next year.
Sewer, sanitary district is not gonna bill the town for another year.
Right.
So you don't have to come up with the money until next budget.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So we're-
That makes,
I like that.
okay.
But we need an answer before then.
Yeah.
And we could spread that financing out over, 3 years or 10 years or 5 years, whatever. Kind of thing you want to do.
Will you have that number in a couple of weeks, you think, before our next meeting, or?
Probably in a month, by the time
Oh,
I get
yeah.
up to bid and then get numbers in.
Okay.
So
Any other
the second
questions?
meeting of September, you want me to put it on the agenda?
Yeah, we probably should. That way we'll
Okay.
have the money and we'll figure out what we're gonna do.
Great, thank you.
Thank you, Dan.
Yep.
Appreciate it. Okay, moving on to Ash Street, Rush, misuse and abuse. Jeff White.
Well, as you all know, that we have the Ash Street brush dump over here at the end of the road that the local town residents can, dump their garden waste and small branches and trees for the people that live in town. It's kind of a courtesy for the residents of the town. But this past summer, it has just been unbelievable what is being dumped down there, and I'm guessing you guys have some pictures in front of you. This past June, we spent well over 2 weeks hauling this stuff off, and now it's back to where it was again. And now I've got to spend another possibly 2 to 3 weeks of hauling this stuff off to another location. It is being abused by some residents, but mostly from out-of-town people. I have caught some people down there and chased them off. It is a huge cost for the town to haul a lot of other people's stuff off. So on that note, taking another 2 to 3 weeks to clean that up, it's going to be close to a total of over a month that I've had to waste, and it's going to take away from other projects that need to be done. So I'm looking for a direction or suggestions of where to turn. I do have a few ideas. One, we close it all together. 2, maybe keep it open 3 weeks in the spring for people to clean their yard and leaves up after the town goes through. And obviously in the fall, 3 weeks at a certain date to take and have their garden and flower bed waste and stuff like that. But when you have guys hauling stuff in there by trailers behind pickups all day long, non-stop, it's gone too far.
Can it be closed? I mean, during the off times, is there a gate and all that?
Yes, currently right now it's open on Tuesdays and Wednesdays from 7 to 4.
Okay.
The gate is opened at 7 a.m. and locked at 4 p.m. And I've heard from some local residents that live right here in the area that there are people driving down there on Thursdays and Fridays and Saturdays and Sundays looking for a place to dump their stuff. Most of the residents in town know what the hours are because they are posted on the website and the sign, and there is a sign at the gate down there. So that tells me that some of these people, if not all of them, are from out of town. I've caught people in there from Emden, North Anson, just looking for a place to dump. Some of it's dumped over the side, which the town does not own. It's owned by another private person. So I'm looking for a direction or a suggestion of what to do.
Yes, Kathy.
So if somebody came and they were a resident and they had a trailer with lawn debris or whatever, are those people allowed to go down there? Or are you saying anybody with trailers?
No, anybody that has a small amount of stuff, but what I'm talking about is people clearing house lots
Right,
and hauling all their brush down there. You know, it's time to hire somebody to clean the lot or get a chipper yourself and chip all this on your own, not to be the responsibility of the town.
Right, but the private person can go down there with a trailer or whatever.
Exactly.
And Madison resident, okay.
The trailers isn't the issue, it's just the
It's okay.
large volume of material.
Sure.
And you don't want the construction debris or any of that.
No, and as it is right now, there's a bunch of pile of lumber and building debris down there, which we'll have to pick through and haul down to waste management.
So are people like, that are going down on the off days when the gate isn't open, are they actually still able to get around the gate and go into Dillon?
No,
or
they're
they
turning
just
around
dipping
and
down?
coming back out without being unloaded
Oh, okay.
and finding another place. Wherever they go, I have no idea.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we gotta do
You
something.
definitely
I mean,
have to do something.
we want it for our residents, for their spring cleanup and their fall cleanups, but, yeah.
Well, I like the idea that you have it just open 3 to 4 weeks in the spring and 3 to 4 weeks in the fall, and just the 2 days of those weeks. And if you close for the other times, would you be willing to meet somebody down there if they made an appointment with you?
No.
No.
No,
I wouldn't
that's
do that.
kinda
No, I
hard,
wouldn't
yeah,
do that.
that's-
Okay.
You'd have people doing it all the time.
You'd do it,
Okay.
yeah.
You know, we can't, obviously, for what money there is, we can't afford to staff it all the time.
Right.
So 3 weeks in the spring, the last 3 weeks of April possibly, and maybe the last 3 weeks in September. Keep it closed the rest of the time. There are a few people in town that do have keys, such as, the fire department, MEW. I know Mr. Bishop, Bobby Bishop cleans up a lot of the cemeteries and the library and stuff around town. He also has a key to get down there also, but in the past, we've given keys out before, the town office has had a key, it gets duplicated, then we end up changing the locks, it's nothing, it's just being abused, period.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be okay with something like that, 3 or 4 weeks in the spring and then again in the fall. And maybe if we can just put that on, we put a letter out with our taxes, maybe that could be included on the letter, so that people would know and have a heads up that this is what's gonna happen for the future.
That could go in the tax insert letter?
Yeah. I'd be okay with that.
Anybody else have any?
We need to make a motion on it, obviously. I guess before we make that, the question is, should we do that immediately, Jeff, and give a week?
I would give people a heads up, 2 weeks to 3 weeks, instead of just, because I know a lot of people do go down there with, some small branches and some garden waste, obviously this time of year where the gardens are dying off. I wouldn't just close it abruptly, I would do it, within 2 to 3 weeks, or possibly a month.
And then like open it again, for trees, so they can take care of their.
Correct, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I don't want people driving down there,
Right.
like say tomorrow, which is open tomorrow, and have the gate be locked, and then they'll be calling the town office, and it would just be an inconvenience for the girls at the office and the resident also.
Yeah.
Would it be easier when we're getting into fall to just wait until, we can announce it, but we're getting pretty close, or?
We can,
I mean,
if that's,
Well, I want to do whatever works for you. That's just-
yeah, we can wait till
Fall
the end of
cleanup?
fall cleanup,
Okay.
or vacuum cleanup, and then after that, we're done.
If you give me a date, I can put it in the tax insert letter.
Okay.
So that's too bad, but that's gonna be-
Are you good with that, waiting this year, or do you want to close it for like a month?
I'd like to see it closed a little sooner than that, only because it's not gonna stop, that's why I brought it up tonight.
That's right.
I'd say let's give it 2 weeks, then close it. And, or maybe even a day a week, try it for a day a week. There's a lot of different options that we can do,
Mm-hmm.
but,
I just want to make it as easy as possible for you guys.
yeah, it's not a big deal, just go down in the morning and open and close it,
Right.
once a day. But it's just, There's just way too much stuff down there. And that also needs to be cleaned up also before winter, because that's our snow down.
Make a motion.
Well, I'd make a motion, but I don't know how to make the motion to be, we have to be
Sure.
specific for,
Because we can always second it, then we can discuss it if we want.
oh, okay, yeah, okay.
I'll make a motion that we close the brush dump in 2 weeks, reopen it for 3 weeks for cleanup in the fall, and reopen it for 3 weeks in the spring.
Okay, so starting after Monday, September 8th, it will be closed until the 1st of October.
Okay, well, I'll second the motion so we can talk about it now.
We're gonna do it for once a week, or?
No,
That's it.
For
Till, till the 8th.
Yeah, he'll have it open twice a week still. You'll have it open on the same days, right, twice a week? Is that how many days you had it open?
Yeah, it's open Tuesdays and Wednesdays as of right now.
Okay,
So if after, let's say, September 8th, or even the 15th, excuse me, yeah, the 8th, that will be 2 weeks, September 8th, and then keep it closed till the 1st of October or September 30th, which is a Tuesday.
Does that coincide leaving it open after that date with your town cleanup?
When we pick up leaves, it will be open for that whole month, because we're not gonna get in, open and close it, but we'll be able to monitor it a little bit closer, because the truck,
You guys will
the
be
guys will be
going
going in and out usually once an hour, every hour, hour and a half,
yeah.
So you'll leave it open for that month?
for our fall leaf vacuum
For the
pickup,
2
yes.
days, for the 2 days a week?
Well, no,
All
every
week.
day.
Monday
Every-
through-
oh,
Monday through Thursday.
Monday through
Okay.
Thursday.
I was just-
Because, yeah, because they're already,
Okay.
usually.
So that's you said September 30th through like October 31st, somewhere in there?
Until snow or whatever.
Yeah, usually leaf pickup is usually the middle of October is when we start, until first snow or leaves are off the tree, which is usually the first week in November.
Okay. I'm gonna say first snow.
But I'm sure there'll be some details that we'll have to work out, obviously, till we get a regular set routine. Because I know when we went to Tuesdays and Wednesdays years ago, there was a little bit of adjusting for people to get used to, and when it's open and when it's closed.
So we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion, any questions from the board? Seeing none, all in favor? Moved. Thanks for sharing that, Joe.
You're welcome.
Okay, moving on to citizens' concerns. And Denise, you said you have one?
Yep, but I think there's a citizen here that
There's a
should
citizen
go-
here
yeah.
that has a concern too?
Yep. Do you have a concern? Jeff?
Oh.
You gave me a note that said, you don't see on the agenda, the owner is here.
Right. I sent you a text too. Lakewood Cannabis was wanting to reapply their license, but according to the ordinance 180, it has to go before the select board for their approval, so he can get his license through the state.
Okay, thank you. My apologies, I did not get that on the agenda. When does your state license expire?
October 15th.
Are you okay if I put this on the next agenda, which would be September 8th?
I have to have the paperwork into the state no later than September 15th,
Okay.
which is why I came up tonight.
So if we put it on September 8th, that gives, we can get all the signatures on September 8th, and the select board would sign it, vote for it and sign it. And then, would you be in town on the 8th, or, excuse me, the 9th?
guess I would have to.
Unless if there's no objection, you can talk about it tonight.
If you guys want to wait, or just listen to the whole thing.
I personally think the guy made it here, he told people it wasn't on the agenda, and I think it should be talked about.
But I don't know who he told.
And do we have the information we need to talk?
Yes, sir.
I was asked to be here.
Aye.
I was asked to be here by Jeff, who had consulted with Denise.
Oh.
In order to be here tonight, in order to get a local authorization form signed so I can continue operating my business out on 201. I'm sorry that I'm not on any agenda. That's beyond my control.
Let me read you what the ordinance says.
Okay.
A medical use cannabis establishment shall not operate until it's licensed by the state. An applicant may not operate a cannabis establishment without a state license and all of the necessary local approvals. No person shall establish, operate, or maintain a medical use cannabis establishment without first obtaining an annual license from the select board. The select board may only issue one annual medical use cannabis establishment license to a single business, individual, or owner. So the owner of Lakewood Cannabis can only have one license. He can't operate multiple facilities. This,
And it's renewed annually?
it is, under our new ordinance.
Okay.
Select board is authorized to issue no more than 3 annual medical cannabis use establishment licenses, unless it's an existing business that is grandfathered.
Which this one is.
Those are the grandfathered ones. And we were at 5 when this ordinance passed. We're currently at 4.
Next.
Each applicant shall complete and file an application on a form prescribed by the town clerk. Have we done a form applicant? I apologize.
This is the first that I'm hearing of this as the clerk.
No. So it's a brand new ordinance, and I think, I'm sorry, we're not prepared for this tonight.
So, when did you contact Jeff?
A week or so ago, we reviewed the ordinance in his office. Denise was out of the office at the time. We looked at the renewal section there because there's a special section that was just about renewals. Some of the stuff that she had mentioned are about new applications, and the renewal process, according to your ordinance, is different than a new applicant process.
Right.
So I thought that the renewal process was far more straightforward.
Okay, let me read that. Thank you. I don't have this memorized, so I apologize. Annual renewal applications must be submitted 30 days prior to the date of expiration of the annual local license. We don't currently have expiration dates. That'll be part of something that we create going forward based on the new ordinance. An application for renewal of an expired license shall be reviewed by the CEO and town manager. The renewal may be approved by the CEO and town manager if the applicant is deemed in good standing with the articles of this ordinance. The applicant for renewal may be elevated to review by the select board if either the CEO or the town manager deems it needs additional review. So I would think in this case that section 180-17 covers the renewal, and that the vote does not have to go to the select board in this case.
That's what, okay, so we're good. You and Jeff can take
Jeff
care
and
of
I
it.
can handle it.
Right.
Oh, thank you, though.
Yes,
We're all
thank you.
learning this.
Yeah, we are. I mean,
Yes,
this is a new ordinance, it's new application, and it's, I'm It's a new application of the ordinance, not a new application to do
Yeah.
business.
What I would like to suggest to the town is that they not set a local date for the license expiration. The dates are supplied by the state. We have to renew according to the state every year annually. To have one separate for the town is, it's not really efficient and it doesn't serve any real purpose. Secondarily, I would like to ask do I have to wait for this form to be created before I can get my authorization to continue operation?
We will have the form created within the next 2 days, and we'll get it mailed to your mailing address. So that's before the end of August. You'll have it in hand from us. You fill it out, you fax it back to us, you email it back to us, whatever, and Jeff and I will look at that, and we'll get that renewal right back to you.
Their existing license through the state's good through October 15th, correct?
Yes, the state requires that I have to have all of my paperwork in to include my local authorization form by,
30 days.
it would be September 15th.
Right, and you'll.
We can absolutely do that.
They're gonna take care of it, because the board doesn't have to sign it, now that that has all been read through. The board doesn't have to sign it, so the town manager.
That's why I was trying to
CEO
point
is-
to,
So they're gonna take care of
towards
it.
the
As far as
renewal
change-
process.
As far as changing the date, that did an ordinance, so we'd have to take that to town meeting. As far as taking out dates, like you would want us to have a date or whatever.
No, it's how we set the local license date.
Right,
So
if the local license date could happen to coincide with your state license expiration, that would make things a whole lot easier for
Is
everybody.
that-
and requires nothing in the ordinance.
okay. I thought that said something in the ordinance.
It says 30 days prior to the date of the expiration of the annual local license. If we set the date of the local license to coincide with the state license, everything's
Okay,
good.
so our
Bingo.
ordinance, okay.
Right, we have the ability to set that expiration date.
Oh, okay.
And it should be set individually for each licensee as they apply.
Yes, agreed.
That's just like a liquor license, correct?
Yeah, those dates agree.
So it does not have to be changed at town meeting?
It does not,
Okay.
because it's,
Because it already states it, kind of, yeah.
right, it doesn't say how the local license expiration date is set. It just says, use 30 days prior to that. So Cheyenne and I will figure out how that local expiration date will work. And between the two of us, we can come up with that form probably tomorrow or the next day. Does Jeff have your email address, Mark?
I believe so. If not, I'm sure we can work something out there.
Okay, thank you.
I think it would be as simple as just adjusting the current wording that we have for other business licenses to meet the ordinance. That was my interpretation when I originally read the ordinance. I just didn't know that a business had been looking to renew at this point.
Yep.
And there may be other things down the road too.
And, well, there absolutely will be, and one of my goals for the next 2 weeks is to notify the existing medical cannabis retail shops that, this is coming up on a year, and if you haven't already applied for your renewal, then you need to think about it, so it's a good thing that this came up tonight, thank you.
And the state also notifies them when
The
they
state,
reapply, so.
right, the state notifies,
The state notifies us 90 days ahead of time for us to start our process, because we have to get, insurance and all of these other things together for the state to be satisfied that we're not operating illegally. And the local authorization form is as you can tell, a significant hurdle to getting that, because there's a learning curve with 400 odd towns in the state, and everybody's doing it differently.
Okay. Any further questions, concerns with regard to this evening?
are you good?
Are we all good?
Am I good?
I think,
Is there any other questions I can answer?
I think did we answer your questions? That we will be able
Yes.
to respond in a timely manner? The board does not need to vote on it. It will be handled by the code enforcement and the town manager.
Okay. I
Okay.
do have my local manager coming down for a Standish operation on Wednesday. If she could swing by your office on Tuesday afternoon?
We should have it ready by then.
Okay, thank you, that would be excellent.
Wonderful.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, moving on
It's,
to,
it's,
oh, I'm sorry.
it's Mark, right?
Yes, Mark.
Oh. Any other concerns, citizens' concerns
Bring in her ID, please.
talk about tonight?
Yes, I have
Bring
some.
in
Got
her
one?
ID,
Okay.
please.
Okay. There was a lady that came to the office today, and this again has to do with medical cannabis retail establishments and the safe zones. She wants to use the property that was vacated by Northern Lights, right behind Lakewood Cannabis, as a daycare. She has been notified by the state that they don't have any issue with it, but our ordinance says 1,000 feet from the safe zone. So the question becomes, this is an established business. This would be, he would be grandfathered from that safe zone if you allowed the daycare to operate in that vacant building. It may be something that you want to, I think we need to send it off to the town attorney just to kind of get an opinion to see where we go with it. But she's said that the owner of the property would in fact allow them to put up a fence to enclose the area for the protection of the children. So.
Yes, sir.
I wanted to share with you a story that was shared to me once, and you can take from this what you will. There was, in the state of Kentucky, half of the counties are dry counties. So there is a very large stipulation against liquor. So what had happened was they had a very similar ordinance around safe zones. So what some families decided to do is they wanted to initially buy the liquor store. They couldn't, the guy that owned the liquor store wouldn't sell it. So beside that liquor store, they started a church. And they invoked the safe zone that shut down the liquor store. Then they closed the church and bought the building. Opened back up a liquor store. All I'm saying is you can take from that whatever lessons you would like, but you are leaving yourself loopholes in the law.
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so you
Yep.
can check with the attorney.
I will.
Any other concerns from citizens tonight? Okay, seeing none, we will go on to select board concerns. Mr. Marcus?
Yes, I just got one. I'm gonna go back to Jeff resigning. Have you thought about how we're going to fill that gap? Is he gonna be able to like moonlight or freelance, or when permits need to be signed or inspections need to be done?
I think I've answered that like several times
Sorry,
already,
I
but I'll
missed
say
it.
it again. We will be retaining his services even through KB Cog to
Okay.
complete what he's doing, and I will be making arrangements with the executive director of KB Cog to make sure that Jeff is basically on demand to complete whatever task he has open at the time.
Very good. Missed it. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is that it? That's it? Sean? Mr. Bean, sorry. I keep forgetting, sorry guys.
Now, there are a couple things I wanted to bring up. Last Wednesday, I walked Forest Hills Outer Edge with our road commissioner. There's a lot of trees up there that are big, they're harvestable at this point. There's some that are leaning towards starting to rot, that probably within a few years are gonna fall into the cemetery. We've established that we're probably going to try to put it to the cemetery committee to get somebody up in there to harvest the trees in that area to thin it out so we don't have them falling into the cemetery. And I also talked to Jeff today. Mr. Peters from Fine Line Paving, if he has some extra product or some hot product that he needs to get rid of, he's at no cost to the town, said that he'd be willing to go up into Forest Hills and tar the areas that need to be tarred. So I wanted to put a plug out to him and thank him in this meeting. Jeff, anything?
No, just on the paving part of it, you know, there are days such as tonight, could have possibly been a rain day, or the mix had gotten over-ordered, or whatever the case may be. Jim said he'd be willing to donate that mix instead of wasting it, and his crew, if they were right local, to lay the pavement. There are some roads up there that could just be overlaid with simple laying the mix and rolling it and calling it good. I think it would be a good idea to take him up on that offer. He wanted to do something for the town, to show his appreciation for doing business in town. So it might not happen this summer. You might get them all done this summer, who knows? So that's what he's up to. On the Forest Hills note, in order for a contractor to come in to harvest the wood, he needs a substantial amount of wood to harvest, which is there without charging the town. So if he had to come in and was only going to take the trees that needed to be done, he'd have to charge the town. But that east side of Forest Hills, there's roughly 25 to 30 acres that is harvestable, and on the other side, on the Holton Street side, there's another 5 to 6 acres in there that could be thinned and harvested. It won't be a clear cut by any means. It will be selectively cut.
And it's good wood, so.
Yes, it's starting to go by. It needs to be taken care of before it starts falling down and make a bigger mess.
And the revenue from the sale of that wood would cover the harvesting?
Yes, we would get a schedule of price per tons on the species of wood, and that would coincide with the tonnage of what is going to be sold and given back to the cemetery. No idea how much it's going to be. No idea whatsoever. Be a couple $1,000s, I would imagine, if not more. Depends on the price and the market of the wood. But the trees on that side do need to come down and do need to be removed, because we've cleaned up quite a few already in the last 5 years that just have blown over, and luckily no headstones have been damaged yet.
Want to hit it before it happens.
Do you have a harvester in mind?
I do. He's a local contractor here, and lives right in Madison. Does a very good job, has a good reputation. If you need some credentials or some references, I can surely get them.
We don't need to put that out for a bid or anything, do we?
No, that's a cemetery thing.
I'm good. Yep. You guys all good?
I'm also.
Okay. There we go. Thank you. Kathy Estens, Ms. Estens, do you have any questions?
I'm also.
Was that it?